Welcome to the Ghost Stories YouTube channel. Here, we will bring you the scariest experiences through ghost stories, mysteries, and inexplicable mysteries of the mysterious world. Whether you are someone who enjoys learning about ghost stories or simply looking for a new entertainment experience, our channel will be the ideal destination. Join us in the horror space and get ready for the most tense and scary moments. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you for joining the Ghost Stories YouTube channel, and now, get ready for some spooky moments with us.
7 Freaky Nights. Chapter 2, Second Night, Haunted Camera. Last weekend, just after dinner, everyone met without appointment on the 4th floor of Truankiat's room. My house has become a public house. The next time you gather here, you have to pay a fee. The whole group talked about last week's story. The boys thought it was very special. Only the two girls were haunted, afraid that strange things would appear in their closets. I wonder what's new in Vuongdo's bookshelf this week. Where is he? Why haven't I seen him yet? Ha Tudin stood next to him. I just called him. The room was empty. I thought he left first. But I haven't seen him much this week. He must have an appointment. Don't wait any longer, it's 9 o'clock, lights out. Just now it was so noisy, but when my shadow arrived, it brought with it the silence like a room that is indispensable for the beginning of any ghost story. Who will tell today? Everyone was silent. Tom Tien, do you think there really are ghosts in this world? No, it's all just imagination. Has anyone heard that cameras can capture ghosts? Are you trying to find something to scare us? Those ghost pictures are just computer effects. Tom Tien, then I will tell the story I witnessed about the camera that can take pictures of ghosts. That night, the weather was hot. Vando and I, a classmate, went to a deserted park. No one has been around here for a long time because looking at the scenery here is very desolate. The grass is so luxuriant, I feel uneasy in my heart. There's no wind at all, but it's all dusty in here. My back was drenched in sweat, making me feel stuffy and tight in my clothes. It is said that if you walk alone on the street late at night and are followed by a ghost, you will feel like that. Thinking like that, I didn't dare turn away. I imagined all kinds of terrible things in my head. Holding the flashlight tightly in his hand, he shined into the dense grass as he walked step by step. I still remember there used to be a road here. Looking at Vando, I felt extremely regretful. Naturally, I bet with him again, and now I have to bring this disaster upon myself. Vando lived in the same dormitory as me. Because our personalities were very compatible, we gradually became brothers. In our 3rd year of college, we both liked the same girl. Because of that, both of us were uncomfortable. Then from friends to enemies, there were times when we openly argued. Later, I discovered that the girl had already had a lover in mind for a long time. Our relationship gradually got better after that. But it is also difficult to mend that emotional rift. That's why this afternoon, when no one agreed at the company, we had a heated argument. Finally, Vando vented his anger by challenging me to see who dared to go into the haunted park. The ghost park is very small, only as big as a normal campus. Yet it has many immortal records. There have also been murders here. That fall, people around the park often smelled rotting corpses. It's getting more and more rotten. They immediately reported to the police. The police sent people to investigate. They found the body of a female student. The people around there were afraid. They mentioned all the recent unusual events. Someone heard her crying. Someone saw her flying around in the middle of the night. Several years have passed, but since that day the park has been rumored to be haunted. In this park, Everyone calls them haunted, from the tree to the cat, etc. They all agreed to take a long detour rather than go through the park holding the flashlight tightly in my hand. I was actually scared, but I didn't like it. Vando looked at me with disdain. I gritted my teeth and stepped forward. Vando saw that I did not bother to reconcile with him. He was extremely angry but gentle. I think you seem scared. Let's just say something and admit your mistake. We won't challenge you anymore. Let's go home. Or not. I coldly replied. My heart felt angry again. Nothing happened. He was clearly the one who started the fight first. Now, even if I'm afraid, I'll never surrender. Want me to admit defeat? Never. His blood boiled as he looked at me. It seemed like he hated me to the core. No one said anything to anyone else. Whether we live or die, we will go in there. Meow. The cat's sound came from the front. This very scary sound almost made my heart jump out. My legs couldn't move anymore. Vando also stood still. His eyes quickly looked around. His breathing was rapid. His scared expression made me even more worried. We continued walking. Now we could see the wooden gate of the park. All around here is a musty smell. The cement walls are peeling off, leaving only bricks. There are only a lot of bats flying around here. I find bats very annoying. Probably because there are so many of them, they overwhelm all other species and take over this place as their own territory. The creeping vines covered the entire wooden gate. Luckily, the lock was left behind. I raised my hand and gently touched a piece of sand that had fallen everywhere. Vando stammered, "Let's not go anymore. Has he surrendered? This place is truly dangerous." I raised my voice, "What, are you scared? Just say it out loud and admit you've lost." Looking at his big figure makes me so shy. Actually, if he hadn't admitted defeat first, I wouldn't have been able to endure it any longer. Whoever said I'm scared, I'm saying the door is locked. If we can't get in, why waste our time here? Surely he was mumbling curses in his heart. But he was stubborn and refused to give up, making my face hot. If you can't walk, then climb the wall. Anyway, you're not afraid of ghosts. Having said that, even I regret it. Suddenly I bought a rope to tie myself up, burdening myself with troubles. Climb then climb, who is afraid of who? He really climbed, without waiting for me to show my attitude. Swing one over the wall. I'm really just being rude and I haven't finished thinking about it before I've said it, and I don't know how to blame him now. There is no other way, just try to climb. At the foot of the wall on this side, I used all my strength to jump up the wall. As I was about to jump to the ground, Vando screamed loudly, startling me so much that I fell down on the ground in pain. Seeing my friend standing still like a stick of wood, his face was grim and his eyes were closed, as if his foot had stepped on something. I risked taking the flashlight and looked at the ground. On the ground is the body of a cat, and Vando was not careful and stepped on its intestines. Seeing that pile of slime so clearly made me feel so disgusted. Chit. Chit. Not one child but a herd. Not a mouse, but a shrew. They seemed to glow, a ghostly light. One came towards me and then the whole herd teleported closer to us. Their green eyes looked straight at Vando. He seemed to stop worshipping. Cat. The sound of wild cats scared those reckless mice away. We were so scared that we could only mumble the words "Thank God, Buddha." What kind of cat came at the right time, but neither of us saw a sign of a cat at all. Meow. There was another cry, shining the light in the direction of the sound. It was a dead cat. Time stops. I lost my composure, My whole body trembled, my heart was pounding, I looked around and couldn't see Vando anymore. He left, damn you. I was so angry that I thought I didn't need to stay here anymore. Looking at this dark and dirty place, I don't have the courage to continue walking, just follow the old road and go home. There was the sound of a cat meowing. Why didn't I see a cat other than two cat corpses lying on the ground, or the cry coming from there? The more I think about it, the more I want to get out of here quickly. On the way home I looked back once or twice to see if anything was following me. Pop! I stepped on something very hard. Looking down with a flashlight, it turned out to be a camera. So someone has come here to investigate. Curious, I picked up the camera. This is also a branded item. Strange, who dropped a camera like this here? Probably after coming here because he was too scared and ran away, he left behind this precious item. Behind him there seemed to be a dark shadow. Turning around, there was nothing but the autumn wind and dry grass. Today I'm a little scared, but I still have a trophy. With this camera, I think I have quite a bit of money. Later, I heard that Vando came home very late that day. When he returned, he was trembling, his eyes were blank, and his whole body was cold. Immediately taken to the hospital, still receiving fluids. He wrote a request for a few days off, probably wanting to rest for a bit. Oh well, in the end he's still more cowardly than me. I was extremely pleased. Alone in the room cleaning the camera, thinking to myself that this time I was lucky. Because of this camera, I spent this afternoon going to the electronics supermarket to buy a complete set of components. When I got home, I was so tired that I just had time to plug in the charger and go to bed. When I woke up the next morning, the battery was full. Go outside and take a look at the camera. I thought so and did it right away. I opened the glasses and took pictures as I walked. Woof, woof. Before leaving the door, I immediately met the neighbor's golden dog. I didn't need to look to know that it was barking at me. That hateful dog hasn't yelped every time I've passed here. I'll take a picture for you as proof when you're bullying me, ha, ha. I got a little closer to it, and it seemed even more ferocious. It was locked in the cage. Even if you use your throat to bark louder, I won't be afraid. Seeing it miserable in the cage made me even more excited to take pictures. I teased it for a long time and then made a lap around the block, taking pictures everywhere. There is Aunt Vuong's tailor shop, an ancient brick statue. I happily look at the world through the camera, and it also brings me completely new feelings. I opened my heart to feel this new life. Hey Dad, are you still reading the newspaper? I pointed the lens at the newspaper seller. Kid, what new toy are you holding in your hand? Dad sat under the umbrella of the newsstand and smiled and said that to me. Camera, it's the newest model. How is it? Great. I pretended to hide the camera. Okay, if you're willing to play with this thing, lend it to me for a few days. I immediately woke up when I heard what he said. Next time, I'll let you borrow it after I use it. After saying that, I ran away as fast as I could. Sunset falls. For dinner, I only ate lightly because I was still interested in taking pictures. I didn't get home until late. Close the door, plug in the battery, charge it and see what my results are today. Vando lost his soul and walked on the street. Originally, I was just in too much shock, so I went to the hospital for fluids and protein transfusions and that was it. Who would have thought that after the doctor finished testing, he would give him a diagnosis card, which concluded, "You have late-stage poisoning, within 2 days you must immediately have a blood change, and that means preparing a sum of money." Big money. Money. It's true that blood needs to be replaced within 2 days, but where can we get so much money now? Walking slowly, his face pale, he looked like he was about to faint. What kind of poison could it be? Or is it an infectious poison? Every time he thought about the cat's corpse that day, he felt nauseous and felt something mushy under his feet. If we hadn't challenged each other that day, today wouldn't have happened. He was extremely regretful. Suddenly all the unfortunate events fell on his head. The chemistry results sheet in his hand fell out and flew in the wind. I sat on the sofa looking at the photos on the computer. Didn't see any photos. Just the pure white color of the background. Or the machine is broken. I press it again and again but it doesn't work. Come to think of it, I've never been lucky enough to pick up anything this good. But still not convinced, I struggled with it forever but couldn't, so I threw it in the corner of the bed. Split. Puff. The camera's screen lit up. I ran out to see, there was an image. Inside was a girl, head bowed, wearing a raincoat, feeling like she was from the forest. She said with a very hateful voice, "You didn't save me. You didn't save me." After speaking, she raised her hand as if to strangle me. I fainted. Woke up and still found myself in bed. I don't know if just now was real or delusional. I stared at the camera. Inside, a crowd of people passed by. Then a few people wearing moon robes flew back and forth. I didn't film any scene like that, or was it filmed before, but I deleted it all. When I was about to click on the contacts section, the photo disappeared. Instead there is a photo of a golden child lying on the ground. His eyes were half closed in pain, his whole body was riddled with wounds filled with black blood. Cruel. I closed my eyes tightly, restraining my impulses. I remembered the scene where Vando stepped on the cat's corpse. Someone must have done something to my machine. Ah, sound! Cried the girl on the phone. There was also Aunt Vuong with her head down there, full of pain, talking like a crazy person. Oh my God. I threw the camera away, kept backing up, backing away into the corner. Help! Save me! On the screen, Aunt Vuong seemed to see me hiding against the wall. She moved closer to me. Her face was miserable and her eyes widened. She crawled closer and was hit. The machine pulled back. I screamed loudly. Clearly I had not taken pictures like this. The photo changed to the scene of Mr. B.A. running out of breath, accidentally slipping and falling. But before he could sit up, he started talking again. "Forgive me, spare my life." But the perpetrator still did not forgive him, repeatedly stabbing him in the back and chest. Plop plop, I knelt to the ground. What is going on? 2 people, 1 dog died so tragically. Why are there such photos? Maybe it's just because I went to that park the other day that I was so haunted, right? That's definitely it. I consoled myself like that. The image turned into something else. Weird. I stood up but did not dare to move forward. My eyes never left the camera screen. If I was shocked when I went into the park, why am I only now haunted? I was hesitant to look again to see if there was anything unusual about that camera. But I didn't see anything. Looks like I played too much during the day. Too much, too tired, so that's it. I still have to go to work tomorrow. I have to go to sleep now. I put my camera away and went to sleep. Die bang. Die bang. Early in the morning I was woken up by Mr. Truong's voice. Aunt Vuong, what's wrong? The Vang is nowhere to be found. Last night I went out to see if it was still here. I locked its cage very carefully. He looked really frantic. After all, that dog had been with him for several years, and now it suddenly passed away. Wasn't he in a hurry? Okay. Aunt Vuong. Don't panic, take it slow and find it, maybe the children in the area will take it somewhere to play. Yes, I'll go look for it, you do your job. He walked farther and farther away. Doggone, since the day I saw it, there hasn't been a day when it hasn't been mean to me. It's worth it. I feel very happy. At noon, everyone's kitchen was red, I was the only one. I should pack my things and go out. Oh, I'm just a lowly employee still on probation, not yet qualified to enjoy a hearty meal. Holding my tongue, the work is too much, no, I don't know how long days like this will last. Vando hasn't gone to work today, is it possible something happened that day? When I arrived at the company today, the first thing I did was look for Van. Though, everyone said he hadn't come yet. I felt uneasy, hoping it was nothing bad. Going around the corner, I heard noise and loud crying. I stopped to look but didn't see anything. Because people were already crowded. Standing outside, I could only hear them whispering. It's a goddamn attack. Who is so virtuous? The voices in this apartment were familiar. But there were too many people gathered around to watch, so I couldn't squeeze in. An elderly man stepped back and said, "What a tragic death." Yes. Watch it grow day by day before your eyes. I don't know who is so virtuous. Hearing him say that, everyone jostled each other to see. A young man's voice said, "This room should be demolished, many people have died here, and at night it's very difficult to stay here. Maybe something unusual happened." Another young man also chimed in, "That's right. A few nights ago, Little King saw someone wearing clothes from the Qing dynasty flying back and forth." People around were just waiting for that to start talking. The crowd was getting closer and closer together. Someone died again. Ah, I see dead people here. I don't feel so good, it's best to get out of this crowd. It took a long time before the crowd dispersed. Only then did I go in to see what was really going on. This dog did nothing wrong to shoot him to death so miserably. Mr. Truong stomped his feet, clapped his hands and shouted. Looking at the golden child lying on the ground, I was surprised. This scene and last night's photo are exactly the same. How could it be such a coincidence? I started to worry. There was a man's voice, "What's wrong? Get out of the way, what's going on?" The crowd that had just dispersed came back again. "Someone come here quickly, save someone." I'm still looking at the dog. What does this have to do with the camera? Why are you still here? Hurry back, Aunt Vuong has something wrong. An acquaintance said to me nonchalantly. What? I ran all the way home. When I got back to the door, I pushed all the people huddled in the hallway to enter the house. Aunt Vuong kept banging her head, her hair was loose, her face was distorted, her eyes rolled back, perhaps her heart disease had returned. "Mom, take your medicine quickly, it's the last one." Aunt Vuong's son held the medicine and water. Everyone around him helped him open Aunt Vuong's mouth so she could take the medicine. In less than a while, she vomited it all out. I was so surprised, another scene exactly like the one on the camera. I was so naive, I went into the haunted park, picked up a camera, and asked how that camera could be normal. Everything that is happening makes me feel cold all over. I don't know how long I stood there lost like that. After everyone pushed me hard, I regained consciousness. Aunt Vuong lay on the ground with her eyes half closed, her breathing gradually weakening. There were so many people who came to watch that they pushed each other around. "Brother BA. I remember there's Mr. BA too, so hurry up and tell him, maybe there's still time." I quickly escaped from the crowd and ran away. From afar I saw Mr. B.A. still sitting reading the newspaper. "Brother B.A., run quickly, you're about to have an accident," I said as I pulled him away. "You're so lazy, you're teasing me. Where's the camera? I told you to lend it to me for a meal." Mr. B.A. patted my shoulder and asked for the camera. "Now go get it with me." I intended to use that method to trick him into going with me, but he refused. The voice was long and suspicious. "Really?" I pretended to be very serious. "Really? Just come with me." "I'm not going, you're just fooling me with your mouth and mouth." I spoke at the top of my lungs, but he didn't believe me. "There is no other way, but leaving is not possible. When I get back, I'll smash you to pieces and throw away your damn camera." As soon as I left, I ran to open the door. The camera was still lying on the chair. I walked closer, gingerly as if approaching a bomb. Nervously, he slowly raised his hand towards his eyebrow. Its shiny exterior illuminated my tense face. Looking at it myself, I find it strange. Deep breath, as if holding a piece of coal, I rushed out until I reached the park entrance before stopping. I was going to return it to its original place, but I didn't want to take any more steps inside. It should be left right outside. I kept walking, my mind empty. I didn't know anything else until I was close to the beach. In the afternoon, dark clouds filled the sky. The sea was dark, the wind was strong, lightning flashed brightly and then went out. "AAA!" I shouted at the ocean, feeling a little lighter inside. I feel like I've just been liberated. But that feeling of peace didn't last long before I became afraid again. I feel like a murderer. If I hadn't picked up the camera and taken random photos, this wouldn't have happened. And boong, Vang is dead, only BA is left. But I don't know how. Deep inside I feel extremely insecure. What happened in the past few days made me panic. Then I wonder if there's anything else going on, but as for me, I swear that I don't have the courage to face anything anymore. Sitting helplessly on the barge, looking at the vast ocean in front of him, I feel like my heart is so small. Suddenly I wanted to burst into tears. Bang, bang, the sound of thunder seemed to tear apart the sky, it echoed everywhere. It's about to rain, it's dark all around. I'm on my way home. The rain and wind made me wet, but the sea breeze dried everything, my hair became frizzy. My clothes are messy, but that's the way I feel to feel comfortable. Passing the warehouses, I saw a few shadows turning along the path. I didn't want to carry any more trouble, so I still went straight home. I don't know how Mr. BA is doing, but this wind and rain must have brought the goods home. Thoughts of Mr. BA appeared in my mind. No matter what, I have to help him escape death. After judging the direction, I immediately went to his house. "Mr. BA, are you home?" I called out while knocking on the door. The rain is still falling. "Brother BA, are you there?" I used more force and called louder. It's been a while and no one has opened the door. I went to the glass window and looked inside. Mr. BA lay in a pool of blood, many knives were stuck on his body, blood was still oozing out of the wound. Surely the ghosts just now killed him. This time it's done. Everyone is dead. Whose turn will it be next time? Whose turn will it be next? Accidentally seeing my father's eyes made me feel like I saw death right above my head. Is the next person me? I rushed home, fell into bed and passed out. Thump. Thump. There's someone calling. I got out of bed, feeling groggy. It turned out to be Vando. Vando looked at me awkwardly, Hoatzi, that's the name my friends often call me because I often wear baggy clothes. Quickly go inside and sit down, it's cold outside at night. Dragging him into the house, his face was so bad, he looked very weak. He refused to go in, stood and took a breath and said, "Don't, Hoatu, I came to apologize, I shouldn't have dared you to go into the haunted park a few days ago. How is Vando today? Why don't you come in and talk?" He stood outside, embarrassed. "Forgive me first, otherwise I won't dare enter the house." Guess he had something to say. What's the point of saying that, my brother? I'm also at fault, I have a hot temper. He stammered, I. Just as I expected. He mustered all his courage, I think. He must have prepared well, but I was shy in front of him so I couldn't say anything. I pulled him in but was immediately refused. "Let's go inside first, let's talk about something. I've been thinking for a few days now, it's all because of you, I came to apologize to you, don't bother hating me anymore." Vando's breathing was rapid and his whole body trembled. "Okay, you should rest early. I'll come visit you again tomorrow. I'll be home." He didn't pay much attention to my invitation but still turned around and left. "Vando," the sound woke me up. "It's a dream again, why is it like this? Is there any hidden alarm? I can't sleep anymore when I lie down." "Or give him a call and see." At the same time, ring, ring, I was startled. "This is a strange phone number, whose is it?" After a moment of hesitation, I answered the phone but the other end of the line was turned off. "Who is it? Probably a wrong call." Ring, ring. The phone rang again. I asked the phone, "Hello, who is it?" On the other end of the line, a girl's voice said and cried, "Go immediately to the People's Hospital to see Mr. Vando one last time." "What does that mean, hey? Hey?" I asked urgently but the other party had turned off the phone. Called back several times but no one answered. Something's wrong with Vando. I immediately jumped out of bed, dressed quickly and went straight to the hospital. But not in time. I saw the thing I didn't want to see the most, the white cloth covering the top of his head. Why, Vando's girlfriend pulled my shirt and cried bitterly. What and why? I was embarrassed all over. For no reason, everyone around was looking, I was about to push her away, but I thought it was just because I was so sad that I misunderstood. "It's all because of you. If it wasn't because you forced him, he wouldn't have gone to that deadly place and gotten infected," she cried very pitifully. She was so tired that she let go of my shirt. "What do you mean if you say you were forced? It was Vando who forced me." She jumped up and bit my shoulder. People around gathered to pull her out. I stood up, my face pale, and looked at Vando's body one last time. Tears of regret. "Vando, Vando, what kind of karma have we created that we are now receiving retribution like this?" I turned and walked away. Ha, 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 ha. Vando's laughter echoed throughout the space. The moonlight tonight is gloomy, on both sides of the street are rows of ancient houses, dark, only one or two households here still retain the warmth of family happiness. At this time, most families are facing difficulties. I want to make myself forget everything, but I'm naturally a sentimental person, so it's not like I can forget. Unforgettable. Truly unforgettable. In life, happiness and sadness are mixed together, which is natural. It's just a matter of whether it's harsh or cruel or not. Suddenly there was a dog sound. Woof, woof. Damn it. A huge dog chased me. Did I have any grudges against you in my previous life? Why don't they forgive me in this life? This dog is several times bigger than Vang. This breed of dog is both big and fierce, so who wouldn't be afraid of it, except me. I kept my head down and ran, turning when I saw an alley, jumping when I saw a hole, but that dog still followed. Damn, whose dog wouldn't be locked up, biting people around like this? Next time I'll kill you. From behind there was a voice, really you two wants to have sex again? Oh, Aunt Vuong, it turns out it's Aunt Vuong. She sat on the chair and never once raised her head because she was sewing or something, but her whole body was floating in the air. Don't. It's not me who killed you, please forgive me, so scared I could only run away. Don't say that, I found you to go with you. My aunt's voice was neither fast nor slow, without any emotion but not angry either. Don't. Aunt Vuong, I bite the straw and bite the grass to bow to you, please forgive me. Sooner or later, you have to go. I'll take you now so you won't have to worry about it later. As soon as Aunt Vuong finished speaking, the sound of a child crying rang out. I was so scared that I didn't dare open my eyes anymore, I just kept running. Mr. Boz voiced you too, buy the newspaper again. My closed eyes now dare to squeak. Mr. B.A. sat in front of the newsstand, leisurely drinking tea, but his eyes were staring at me. How can Mr. B.A. still sell newspapers? I vaguely understood that I could see Aunt Vuong and Brother B.A. because they thought I was harming them. I screamed as if to reaffirm to them, it's not me. It's not me. There's nothing to be afraid of when buying a newspaper, this is the newspaper of the future. You'd better buy it, or at least support my business. No. I couldn't take it anymore, madly rushing forward. Ha ha ha. Van Tho's characteristic laughter was faintly heard. It's really not my fault, I don't understand why their deaths are blamed on me. Ahead is the walkway, my last hope is that there are people passing by there. Aunt Vuong was still hovering over my head, come with me. No. I don't, I covered my ears tightly, not wanting to hear anything anymore. Exhausted, when I saw Aunt Vuong chasing me, I immediately turned aside. There was a hotel ahead, I ran there. The two receptionist girls bowed, please come in. Finally entering the hotel, lying on the leather sofa in the middle of the lobby, I didn't look like anything. Looking around, there was no trace of anyone else. There probably aren't too many people here, and the sun has already risen, so now I feel somewhat reassured. There's no other way, just stay here for a day, no matter where I go, I don't have the guts. Even after everything that happened was fake or real, I'm already too scared. Here's your room key. Thank you. Room 404. Turn on all the lights to brighten the room. I'm now very afraid of the dark. I've been running all day and I'm so tired, let's sit down and rest for a while. Within a few minutes I was lying in bed staring vaguely at the ceiling. One day my fear subsided. Ping, thud, thump, thud, the sound came from the window. I was confused and looked behind the curtain. What was it? Who knocks on the door? I'm on the 4th floor. Why is there such a noise? Could it be a person? Thump, thud, this time it was louder and clearer. I covered my ears to stop hearing that sound, but it kept ringing. Looks like I can't escape. I ventured towards the window. He gingerly opened the door, then waited all day and didn't see anything strange. After a moment of calming down, I went to open the door. But there was no sign of anyone, only a long hallway. Perhaps it was because someone did 81 hadn't closed the window yet and the wind was blowing through, that's why there was that sound. I quickly went back to my room and closed the door. Just discovered there was another girl in the room. A strange girl sat on my bed. She braided her hair in pigtails. "Who are you? Why did you come into my room?" I didn't dare raise my voice, because I felt she was involved in what happened. I just kept that thought in my stomach. "How come it's only been 4 years and you don't recognize me?" The girl looked at me and laughed loudly, her white skin appearing like a piece of paper under the light. Hearing her say that, I couldn't think of anything that had happened. "I don't know you. I don't know what misfortune I have encountered, but everything falls on my head. I hope this girl can trust me. Everything is just a misunderstanding. I have never done anything unethical. You and I are not acquaintances, but you have seen death without being saved." The girl changed from an infinitely sad posture to an angry one. Slowly walking towards me, her teeth were grinding, her school clothes gradually turned the color of blood. Soon her shirt was soaked, blood began to drip onto the floor. I stammered, What do you mean? You saw death but didn't save you. Your family is a murderer. Look, they are all people who died at your hands. Now we come to take care of you. Ha ha ha." I didn't dare look at her. The curtains were automatically pulled to the sides. Looking up at the wall opposite the window, there were ghosts flying back and forth. The wind became stronger and hissed each time, blowing into those shadows, vaguely as if in smoke, making them sway like lanterns. Their mouths are long and their hands are constantly shouting swoosh, swish. Which sounds very scary. They raised their hands towards me. "Come here quickly. Hurry here." They used more and more force, as if they wanted to scratch the glass door. Their faces became more and more distorted and scary. What the hell is going on? 4 years ago, when you and Van Tho had not graduated, did you hear anything? One day when you passed that park, she started leading me into the story. 4 years ago. I tried my best to remember, but I couldn't remember anything. The shadows became more and more ferocious, as if screaming at me. "Hurry up. Quickly follow us." "Huh, you're also a forgetful person, all the same," she said and stood up, causing blood to flow onto the floor. "Don't blink." Her eyes in front of me. Her black hair was long but only stuck to her head in a few clumps, and her face was deformed. One arm turned white. Wait. I don't know what I said or what I was going to do. But that girl didn't react. "Here we come." Ha ha. My eyes darkened. Too scared, I ran out of the big room like I was crazy out there. Early in the morning, I was called 5 days 65 by the hotel staff. My whole body ached, I felt extremely uncomfortable, I basically couldn't sleep at all last night. The image of that girl haunted me day and night. I don't know what to do next. No matter where they hide, they will always find them. The phone rang. My cousin called and said my nephew was on vacation and wanted to come to my place to play. I feel so dissatisfied, I have nothing to fear anymore. Welcome all. When I got home, my nephew was standing in front of the door. Long time no see, he's grown up so fast. Looking at the boy, I smiled from afar. This boy is very active, intelligent, and especially loved by me. You've been waiting for a long time, haven't you? I have some work to do, so I'm just going home now. Luckily, the boy's house was close by and his father didn't let him go here alone. I just arrived too. You're getting fat. What did your parents feed you that was so good? Holding the boy, I saw that he had gained quite a bit of weight. I want to eat your fried goat's milk. As soon as he finished speaking, he kissed my cheek. Yes, go inside, wait a moment and I'll do it for you. It's late autumn and the weather is cold, so I let the boy go in first, afraid he won't be able to stand it any longer outside. I walked into the kitchen with a knife and cutting board in hand to make rice, and suddenly a vague thought flashed about what happened 4 years ago. Vando and I happened to come here during a biology field trip. Help me! A girl's cry echoed from the park. What's that noise? Come over and see. VTH saw a scene where he said wait. What can a piece of pipe do for you? I still carried the easel ahead, only turning around to look at him. Vando now caught up with me. What's wrong? We walked to the corner and saw a boy and a girl. I don't know, inside it seems. A middle-aged man held a newspaper in one hand, pointed towards the park with the other, and hesitated to speak. Let me go, save me. Quickly save people. Hearing the cry clearly, I was about to break down the door. Vando held my hand. Let's see how it goes. Another woman was trembling, knitting needles and wool rolling in her hands. She saw it all. She did not dare to call for help because it was her brother who was threatening that girl. Damn, if you still scream, I'll kill you immediately. The girl felt like she had a rag stuffed in her mouth and couldn't scream anymore. It's nothing, let's go quickly. The middle-aged man was also afraid that he had dropped all the newspapers in his hand. He quickly grabbed everything and ran away. But I still took the opportunity to tell people around me to stay away and go home. I'm here to save you. I was so angry. These people were so unscrupulous. The woman immediately stopped me and didn't let me take a single step. Chief. Out of nowhere the woman summoned a dog. She yelled at him and rushed straight at me. Vando, run quickly. The dog jumped up and pushed me to the ground. This damn dog is so heavy that it can't move me. Run fast. Vando turned around and hit the dog a few times. Save someone, save yourself, I don't know if I can escape. He pulled my hand and ran out. Save me, the cry was left behind. Clack, the sound of the door opening brought me back to reality. One male and one female are Aunt Vuong and brother Ba. When did you buy this camera? The boy holding the camera walked quickly towards me. Shock, I couldn't hold the lid firmly and fell to the ground with a loud sound. The boy kept squeaking and still couldn't see the picture. I can adjust it for you and you can't edit anything. Sunlight shines on the sparkling camera. I threw it away, but it's still in the boy's hand. Somehow the camera turned itself back on. It pointed its lens at me. I was dumbfounded. At this point, Tom Tien stopped telling the story. Everyone was fascinated, looking at him curiously. That girl died unjustly, still hating this world without being reincarnated. She thought that seeing him die like that and not saving her was a conspiracy. When we see the discontent, we should help. Tonight's story is over. Who's coming home? Tom Tien returned to his room and found the room frozen. The wind blowing in is too cold. I remember leaving the house and closing the door, so I thought as I walked over to close the door. After closing the door, Tom Tien still felt the wind blowing. There was a premonition in the room as if someone was hiding somewhere. Turning off the light and going to bed, he thought that he shouldn't tell ghost stories in the middle of the night. Tom Tien lay in his nest forever and couldn't sleep. Get up and turn on the light. With the light, the brave hero feels less stressed. It's cold, maybe I need to change to a thicker blanket. Open the cupboard, a human corpse. Where are you? Come here quickly. Neighbors ran over, not knowing what was going on. There's someone in the closet. Everyone comforted him. You looked right. You were dizzy, so you scared yourself. Seeing that no one believed him, Tom Tien told them to come in and see. Just open it and you'll know the scene. Everyone was still laughing non-stop. Just finished telling a ghost story and being scared by a ghost, he no longer looked like himself. The stairway lights were broken, there were a few people holding flashlights and throwing them to look into every corner. Tom Tien went to Thuong Gia Bang's room, he wouldn't go anywhere if he lived or died. They arrived in front of the cabinet and discovered that the door was not closed, revealing a piece of black cloth. A cabinet this high could fit a few corpses. Everyone kept staring at the closet and then at me, but no one dared to come closer. Finally, someone had the courage to open it slowly. He immediately saw the face of the dead body. I tried to slam the door but the force was too strong and the body crashed out. The body remained stiff like that lying on the ground. Quickly call the police. Not daring to touch the body, they turned to look and discovered that the body was Vuongdo. As soon as I hung up, 2 police officers arrived. They investigated the situation and took our statements. While examining the scene, police officers also found this place strange. The lights flickered, and there were constantly silhouettes of people flying back and forth. But seeing their calm demeanor made us less panicked. The police found it extremely puzzling that there were no fingerprints, shoe prints, hair, or cigarette butts of Vuongdo left in the room. With no reasonable explanation, the case reached a dead end. End of chapter 2. See you again in the next chapter.
Thank you for taking the time to watch Ghost Stories video. Hopefully the content has brought you interesting and meaningful moments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Ghost Stories YouTube channel to follow the channel's next videos. See you in the next video. Have a good day.